Yeah, what up, though? Um, just to talk about the cops and shit for a minute. Let me tell you, I'm one motherfucker that truly believes that a lot of these cops, most of them, are afraid when they shoot an unarmed black man. Now, hold up. I'm not making no excuses. That is not what I'm doing. I'm just saying, I've been around and I've went to school with them. I've always grew up with them, and they scary like that. You know what I'm saying? And we scare them. A aggressive black dude scares them. So I understand, you know, why they would shoot because they're fucking frightened. That's what you do when you're scared and you got a gun and you feel you got the power. You know what I mean? Now let me tell you why. Let me give you an incident. Unfortunately, I've been to prison. And like I said, I've seen a whole different side of the cops and situations with these people. You know what I mean? And when I say these people, I mean whites, but not necessarily in a bad way. So I was in prison, and there was this one guard. He was like he had to been about 6'5", big old country corn fed motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Fresh off the farm from out there. Big old dude. So he was giving out the clothes. Now, he used to always, let me tell you this, he used to always goof around with the inmates, you know what I'm saying? Laugh and joke a little and shit. Not even a little, a lot. That was his thing, you know what I mean? But he still wanted to be that power guy, you know what I mean? So he was giving out the clothes, and everything they do, mainly they're behind something. When they're in there with us, they're in a bubble. You know what I'm saying? They're always protected. So he's behind this thing with this like iron grate. He's behind, and they slide the clothes through a slot. And so I had asked him about something, maybe an item of clothes, and he said they didn't have it. And I like jumped at him, right? But I was just goofing around. Like I said, he's behind a fucking metal grate. You know what I mean? So maybe about 30 minutes later, I hear my name to get called in the hall. Now, when you get called in the hall, I was in Dodge in X building. That's more like intake. And so when you get called in that hall, it's never a good thing. Never. Everyone knows that. Everybody stopped. Like, what did you do? What did you do? And I'm like, I don't know. So I go out and see what I'm talking about. There's another officer, there's him, and there's a sergeant. So right away, I know there's trouble. So I'm like, what's going on? And he tells me that the officer, this big, huge 6'5" motherfucker that was behind a metal grate, felt threatened by me when I did my little stomp, right? Now, this is my first time in prison. I don't want to go to the hall. So immediately I'm like, hold up. I turned to the officer. I said, man, I was just joking. I didn't mean to scare you. And when I said that, the sergeant, he was an older guy, he just bust out laughing. I'm talking about real laughing. He's hanging on my fucking shoulder, laughing. I mean, he's just tickled. And the officer turns red, right? He's like, well, you didn't scare me. And I'm like, man, we out here in the hallway, man. You called the sergeant. You know what I'm saying? So obviously you were scared. You told him you were scared. And the sergeant is just, man, he can't even fucking breathe. He's laughing so hard at this dude. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, he gets it. I got like a brace on. because of my foot. I'm like 5'7". You know what I mean? He's like, really, dude? You know what I'm saying? You're like a whole foot taller than this guy. You're supposed to be a fucking officer, man. You can't be scared of every motherfucker coming through here. You can't be calling me because you scared. I'm like, he was behind the thing, and that just really just and the officer, the sergeant, he's wiping tears away from his face. And he's like, Mr. Hill, just go in there and don't get in any more trouble. You know what I'm saying? So he let me go back. But my point is, as big as this dude was, as much protection as he had, as many officers as he could call who would come in there and stomp my ass to the ground, you know what I'm saying? He was still frightened by some little guy. I mean, I'm stocky and I don't look 5'7". You know what I'm saying? I got a build or whatever, but compared to a motherfucker that's 6'5", 230, you know what I'm saying, 245 or more. Come on, man. You know what I mean? This is a big dude, and that doesn't necessarily mean he can beat me up. I'm not saying that. It's just that he should have the attitude. You know what I'm saying? He should have that authority to, even if he is frightened, to not let it out like that. And I'm like, these motherfuckers are just as scared, and I've seen so many situations. And like I said, I grew up around them. I live around them now. You know what I mean? And they're pretty, they don't want that physical confrontation. You know what I mean? So it's just better to just shoot a motherfucker. And if you read some of these biggest comments on Facebook and stuff, they're flat out saying it. One guy, they'll use a gun. You know what I mean? And they always talk about black guys. Remember how they talked about blacks in the gangbangs? Oh, they're not shit without a gun. Oh, they need a gun. And cops will even say that to a criminal or about a criminal. But it's like, it's the same thing with you. You need a gun. If you didn't have that gun and that badge, you would not feel as strong as you feel. And even with all that strength and authority that you're supposed to have, you're still frightened. They should hire cops who aren't scary ass pussies. Bottom line, these motherfuckers are scared. And they're shooting motherfuckers who just as scared at not now. A motherfucker got a gun, you know what I'm saying? Then whatever. You did what you had to do. You know what I'm saying? Or you felt you had to do. It was still out of fear. You still don't have to murder. You know what I mean? Unless they have a gun. Then hey, I can't say nothing about that. You know what I mean? If they got a gun and it look like they reaching for it or pointing, then hell, anybody would do what they had to do in that situation. I hope. But I'm just letting you know, man, they are scared. They are a scary bunch of motherfuckers. And that should be, you know, part of them even graduating is conquering that fear. You know what I mean? Because, when I was out here toting guns, acting bad, and doing all that shit, there's an attitude that comes with that. You know what I mean? That you have to have. Excuse me, I'm outside. There's an attitude that you have to have. I used to rob people. So no matter what mood I was in, I could be in the happiest mood. When I went in these houses to rob these people, because, I come from the 90s. We didn't rob ordinary citizens. We didn't rob people just working, trying to make a living. We robbed criminals, drug dealers, and shit like that. We were doing a service. Some of them stopped selling drugs after I robbed them. You know what I'm saying? So, You know, I don't want you to think I was robbing ordinary people. These people had thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in their house from selling drugs. So when I went into these houses, I had to have an attitude. I had to change however I felt. And I had to be the authority. I had to command respect. I had to make these motherfuckers believe that I was in them with any move that they made. That was wrong. Any move that they made that I didn't tell them to make. So there's an attitude that comes with being an authoritative motherfucker with a gun that's trying to make people do what they want them to do, and you can't have any fear. And I can't shoot people for the littlest shit. Shoot. That's just not realistic. I don't want to be on the run for a murder when it was just a robbery. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if they're just pulling a guy over for a traffic stop, we don't need that shit to turn into a murder. Is what I'm saying, because someone was scared. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why I took you where I took you. If I was in there robbing people and I was scared by every move that they made, I wouldn't even be around. But I robbed a lot of people. You know, I got shot during the robbery. You know, I robbed a lot of people, so I wouldn't be around if I was jumpy. If I was, every time someone moved, I was, you know what I mean? I wouldn't be around. So we need to hire cops. You know what I mean? Or they need to hire cops that aren't frightened by every move that someone makes. Every time, if a motherfucker flinches, you know what I mean, because they're frightened. I mean, how sometimes, you know, you got those people that's, you know, they should have just did this and they should have just did that, and it's like, if you've never been in that situation, how the fuck can you say anything? We get a lot of people on the internet making comments about situations they've never been in. You don't know how you would behave if someone's yelling at you with a gun pointed at you. I remember being in that situation and the cop was telling me to get on the ground, get on the ground. And I didn't. It turned into a little situation where he ended up, I had a gun, he had a gun. He pulled both of them on me because he tried to choke me. I wouldn't let him choke me. So he had to pull the guns. But this was, like I say, back in the 90s where they just didn't kill you just like that. Right now, for something like that, I'd be fucking dead. You know what I mean? But I want to tell you that when I say that he was yelling to get on the ground, I didn't get on the ground, so he tried to choke me. I want you to understand that I wasn't not getting on the ground and not complying out of being some tough guy criminal. I was in fucking shock that this was happening to me. Do you understand? I was in shock. I was just like, what the fuck? So I heard him, but I didn't hear him. All I could, my whole life was flashing before my eyes. I had a huge bag of dope that I was selling, ready for distribute in my pocket. I had a gun and I had an extra clip. All things I wasn't supposed to have because I had the gun concealed. So I was thinking, you know, I'm 20 years old. I'm thinking I'm going to prison. It's over for me. This is my last day on the streets. You dig? So I was in shock. I was in shock that they just rolled out of nowhere and said we got a report of two guys out here that fit your description with guns and dope. And I'm like, how the fuck did they know? So I was in shock. So I wasn't not complying because, yeah, I'm a tough guy, I'm a criminal. It was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. That's what was going in my head. Oh my God, what the fuck, what the fuck? Oh my God, oh my mom, oh my God. You know what I mean? I let my family down. I'm going to prison, for years. I was just like, oh my God. So not every time someone is not complying because you have to, like I said, if you've never been in these situations, you don't know this shit. So it takes for me to tell you these things. Some people are just as scared as these cops. I mean, someone how would you feel if some shaky motherfucker, you can hear his voice shaking. He's got a loaded gun pointed at you and he's yelling and screaming. We already know the reputation of these motherfuckers. You know what I mean? People get nervous. People get scared. They don't deserve to die because they were nervous, because they were scared. Why do they have to die? Because the people that are coming to arrest them or question them about a traffic stop or saw them sleep on the side of the road are just as frightened as they are. You know what I'm saying? That's something that shouldn't happen. They should hire cops who are real tough guys, not fake tough guys. I could deal with an asshole cop that's not gonna kill me over some frightened, scary motherfucker. You know what I mean? And even if you're afraid of an unarmed motherfucker, a shot to the femur will take any man down. And I know this because I've been shot in the femur. It's over. There's no way this guy is a threat to you anymore. I promise. When I got shot, in my femur, I thought my leg exploded. I didn't even think it was attached to my body anymore. So the last thing I was thinking about was shooting at anybody or doing anything. You know what I mean? It literally felt like my leg exploded. Like someone threw a fucking bomb and my left leg got caught. You know what I mean? In that bomb and just blew completely off my body. When I looked down, I didn't expect to see it anymore. And when I did, it was just kind of like hanging. So that's one shot and that's like the worst pain that you could feel. That's the biggest bone in your body. When that motherfucker gets fractured, I'm talking about it is over. It is over. So, there are things that they can do. You know what I mean? Where they don't have to just kill and kill. And I think the police departments need to be held accountable for hiring these scary ass, frightened ass cops. I think they should have some kind of responsibility. Like, hey, we didn't know this guy was a total pussy. Stop hiring pussies. That's all we ask. Stop hiring people who don't know shit about the people they're policing. It helps to be able to connect with the people. We should have more black cops in our community. Not these scary ass white guys who probably only seen black guys on TV. And now they're down there policing them. They got all these ideas about how they are, and they've been told all this shit. You know what I mean? Some of them are only thinking murder. Hey, I'm not tangling with these fuckers. I'm just going to kill them. Some of them go in with that intent. I'm going to shoot this fucker. We already know that bigots are rampant in the police department. Always have been. Rampant with bigots. Just lousy with bigots. Infested with bigots. So some of them are going in with the intent to murder. Get a notch on the belt. But we also have to protect ourselves. Stop getting the shit in all the time, man. Stop letting them win. Some of you motherfuckers walk around like you're the toughest motherfuckers in the neighborhood, and then the cops come and just bitch you. Just bitch you. You're just a bitch now. A total fucking bitch. Come on now. We got to do better, man. Stop hiring scary ass cops and stop being a victim all the motherfucking time, black men. Stop being a victim all the time. Stand the fuck up. Be men. Stop letting other men just come in your community and just run shit. Just do what the fuck they want. They should be too afraid to do that. We should totally understand why they shooting motherfuckers, if you get my drift.